Hi, my name's Jeff Rickerman, and welcome to another episode of I Hate Cars. Car manufacturers, they give the engineers a spot where the engine has to fit into the motor. And they have to design this engine to fit into that compartment. And these people that have never worked on cars have to fit this motor in there. And then people like me have to go and do an oil change. And it takes 3 times as long as what an old car used to be. It's so funny when people come in for an oil change, they think it's supposed to take 15 minutes, half hour for an oil change. Wrong. If you're wanting somebody to do it in 15 minutes to a half hour an oil change, guess what? You better be worried about if they did it right or not, because that's not the way you do an oil change or look over a car. If you're taking it to a proper mechanic shop and they're going to do your oil change, it roughly takes about an hour. Look over your whole car, drain the oil out, put a new oil filter in. Some of these cars, there's a cover on the bottom of it. It takes 10, 15 minutes just to get all the screws out to drop the cover to get to the filter. So that pisses me off half the times. These manufacturers, it's like, really? Your dealerships have to, if they're changing oils for your cars, are wasting a bunch of labor taking these shields down just to get to the oil filter. And then another thing, it's an idiot thing that these educated engineers are doing, is when you're draining or taking off an oil filter, and some of them have little hole compartments up in the bottom of there, and you end up taking the oil filter out. Well, they don't realize the oil doesn't come straight down. It comes out at an angle. So when you're doing it, you take the filter out, it going on to the cover that you don't have to take off. So all the oil ends up on there that you have to take off because the oil leaks on the damn thing. And if you don't have people that care about working on your car, guess what? You're going to get home and you're going to think your car's leaking oil. It's not leaking oil. Not all the time. Sometimes it is because there's stupid people out there that do some of this shit and they don't tighten an oil filter on tight enough or too tight and it starts leaking. But that oil residual oil ends up on the cover, the underneath cover, and you get home. By the time you get home, it starts leaking on your driveway or your parking lot or whatever. And then, you're making a phone call back to them that, hey, somebody left off, didn't tighten this down tight enough. I'm coming right back up. Well, come right back up because the stupid people that made the car designed it. So it wasn't, you were in a hurry to get your car out of there. And the guy's freaking out to get you out of there because you say, oh, I got to go on a date or something. So he ends up not cleaning all the oil out from the underneath side. So it's all your fault because you're hurrying and rushing them to get it done. And then it drains on there. It's all residual. He can't get his hand up there to clean it all out. So it takes more time to take those splash shields off. So just remember that when you're going into a shop. Do you want a guy to change your oil in 15 minutes? Guess what? You better be worried about what's going on because it can't happen on most cars these days. Some of the old cars, yeah, you can dump and fill and you're out the door. At my shop, we do a tire rotation if you need to. We check out the whole car. We look over the whole car. I look at every light bulb that comes into my shop. I want to make sure that you have brake lights. I want to make sure your headlight works. It's up to me to tell you what I find. It's up to you to tell me if you want me to fix it or not. So that's not my part. That's not my business if you fix it or not. My business is to tell you what I think or what I find on your car. So keep that in mind. Every time you go get an oil change, let the person do your oil change in an appropriate amount of time and expect it to be about an hour to do a proper oil change. All right? So thanks for listening this time. My name's Jeff Rickerman. And just remember, it's free to be happy and make somebody's day better by smiling at them. I hate the cars that the engineers design. Okay, I'm done.
Why does he hate cars?